Hello, and welcome back to the WarDawg Trail podcast. This is episode 144. I'm your host, Sergeant WarDawg in Florida, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Tomo
Tomo.
Williams. Good morning or good evening, America. Good morning, Australia and Thailand. It's not a bad view to wake up to, guys.
Nice,
Hope
nice.
you're all doing good. Looking forward to catching up with Larry again today.
All right. Hey, they don't know it's him yet. Hold back.
Oi.
All right. But as he already let the hat out of the bag though. We are bringing back the one, the only. You killed my whole intro, but all right, yeah, we are bringing back the one, the only. All right, Mr. Larry L. Long the second. All right, not only is he law enforcement experience and corrections, he is also a Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach. All right, now we've had him on the show before. Today we specifically want to speak to him about his experience in the world of Florida corrections. All right. You remember on his last episode, I know he caught all of your attention when he told you, hey, at his young age of 18, his young age of 19 or 20, he was already, working with and transporting his first serial killer. All right. He was already working with mental health inmates, that had, been deemed as serial killers and whatnot. So, hey, yeah, we wanted to bring him back to dive into some of his experiences in the correction side, man. But before we bring him on, all right, couple quick announcements. We are going back to SHOT Show 2026 in Las Vegas. All right, so here in the next, we will be returning to SHOT Show in Las Vegas, where we will have the opportunity to film and highlight all the newest and greatest guns, weapons, and gear for military, law enforcement, security, the outdoors, shooting, camping, you name it. SHOT Show is the place to be. All right, and we were invited as media members 2 years ago in 2024, and last year I don't know, I really wasn't really up for it. This year though, with some convincing from Tomo here, hey, we're gonna take the show back to SHOT Show and film live while we're there, just like we are now. All right. In addition, remember you can always buy a copy of my book, The WarDawg Trail, a Marine Rifleman's Struggle with War and PTSD, on Apple Books, Audible, and Amazon. Remember, the book actually won an award, all right, for one of the best Iraq War books of all time by bookauthority.org. As always, you know, this is Sergeant WarDawg TV, all right. We are owned by Camp Doghouse, which is our nonprofit in Central Florida, where we are in the process of acquiring 9 acres so that we can build our homeless off-grid war veteran shelter. All right, so that we can house as many homeless veterans as possible and brand new RVs as soon as possible on our land out in Hollow Paw, Florida. So please, you get the chance, and get the opportunity, be sure to check us out at campdoghouse.org. All right. Here's a quick overview of what the camp, what we'd like the camp to resemble, and what we are ultimately shooting for. We're looking to house, as we hope to hopefully house 10 to 20 homeless war veterans in the Central Florida area. You can see the concept that we are working on as far as having brand new or very modern RVs off grid on our 9 acre lot. We will also have, a medical tent, excuse me, not tent, a medical RV. All right, nurse on station 24 hours a day. We have security personnel. Um, we're off grid, completely out in the wild. So we obviously will have weapons on the facility. We will have an RV for strictly for food. For clothing, we have our own Camp Doghouse clothing line, so we will be able to house and clothe the guys as well. And the RVs will be, as I said, the same thing you see nowadays, top of the line with power, showers, washers and dryers inside, showers. I'm sorry, I said showers. Uh, Private master bedrooms in the rear. We are actually shooting to take these guys off the streets and bring them into brand new or modern RVs, mobile homes, where they will have a warm or cold or cool home in the summer. Um, that's off the streets. You know what I mean? It's a jump off spot. It's a starting point. Um, if they're looking for housing, we have space off grid, and that's what we're going with here with Camp Doghouse. All right. Um, Last but not least, Tomo and I like to represent the psych ward gang. All right, and between us, myself as a Marine, Iraq war veteran, and Tomo as an Australian Afghanistan war veteran, we like to touch globally and internationally and resonate with all war veterans from all countries around the world. All right, because we know that once you step off the front lines, certain aspects of life, mental health, and physical health are going to change, and that's what we try to represent with the psych ward gang. And though in terms of those that may run into mental health problems later on in life, we like to joke somewhat that, hey, once you run into any type of psych facility, you're usually going to run into another veteran there also. All right, and you can kind of find some sort of solace in knowing and feeling that, hey, whatever's wrong with him is probably wrong with you, and together you can get through things though. All right. Okay, then, last but not least, as I said, this is episode 144 with our guest from a very recent episode, the one that only. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Larry L. Long the
Oh man,
second. Welcome back to the show, boss.
oh man,
Welcome
appreciate it.
back,
Thank
brother.
y'all so much. It's good to be back with y'all guys. I feel like I've known y'all my whole life. It's always awesome talking to y'all. It's such a
Ah,
pleasure. Always have a good time.
that, that
Heck
is,
yeah,
brother, and you bring that amazing energy, man. That smile, that energy, it keeps us pumping. It's awesome, dude.
heck yeah, man. And dude, I love them shoes.
Yeah, I forgot they
In
were right.
Thailand.
Yeah, in Thailand. I got to get
From
them checked out.
Thailand.
I don't wear them everywhere, mate. I'm never usually this cold in Thailand, man. I'm about 1,300 meters up above sea level at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Where we're staying usually during the winter, it's like packed out for 3 months with the Thais because they all come up here. You sit above the clouds, looking down on it. It looks like an ocean of clouds. I don't think we're going to get that this morning because it's a little bit too clear. But as you can see, a little bit of paradise, mate. We're talking about the outdoors, and as a veteran, mate, like this last
Nice.
24 hours has just been. It just takes you away from all the noise and all the bullshit.
That's good. You need that. You need that quiet
Nice.
time. That's awesome, man.
From
Absolutely
Florida to Thailand
ridiculous.
and back.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. That's a beautiful
But it's too fucking cold.
Thai
I'm sitting
morning,
back
man.
inside.
And that's what we love, though, man. This is an international team, international podcast, man, an international nonprofit veteran shelter, bro. Like I said, we're tapped in from myself in Florida, Larry in Florida, and Tomo live from Thailand.
Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
especially
sir.
guys, there's active combat going on over here, guys.
Oh, for
You
real?
got the
Damn.
yeah, you got the border conflict going on still. I think they've just found. I think the Thais have just found more landmines being placed over by the Cambodians. So the peace treaty that had just been signed, just gone out the window again. So I think there's some big protests in Bangkok. So it's wars everywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
it
whether
is.
we speak the same language or not, mate, we're all going to be dealing with stuff. And as my second home now, these guys are going to be coming home. that coming home from these conflicts soon, and I'm hoping that I can speak enough Thai so I can reach out to those guys also.
That'll be awesome, man. See, like you said, internationally, that's what y'all trying to do is, help people, from all walks of life, especially that's been through similar things that y'all have been, because, you can, I don't think there's nobody better. There's nothing wrong with a psychologist, and I know they're professionals, but there's a difference between, going to school and actually going through something. It's
That's
just
so
like,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with taking advice from a professional, but it's like if you've never been through what I've been through, or you've never been where I'm trying to go, how could you can give advice, but there's no full understanding.
No, I couldn't agree anymore, brother. Could not agree anymore. I've had those arguments with 15-year psychiatrists. It's like it doesn't matter how much you think you know until you've lived what you've read out of that book. I'm
Yeah,
trumping you, brother.
yeah, big time, big time, big time. Heck yeah. So where y'all guys want
Ah,
to
so
start with the corrections, man? Where y'all want to start?
yeah, man. Well, let's get into the
Well,
grid. Let's go back to
if you
what it
don't
was.
mind,
Go, WarDawg.
hold on. We got to remember there are some who didn't see your
Okay, yeah,
last
you're right.
episode. So just real quick, if you can give us your location,
Okay,
your background, and then just real quick, because like I said, they can always go back to that
okay,
episode. But for anyone that's meeting you for the first time,
okay. Yeah, so I'm Larry Lavelle on the second. 38 years old. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, first degree black belt under Adriano Lucio. I'm a dual certified corrections and law enforcement officer in the state of Florida. I'm also a general instructor, DT instructor, first aid and CPR instructor, holding instructor certifications through Blue Shield Tactical, which company I work for. Also EFC, which is Effective Fitness Combatives, and and then also there's C4C Code 4 Concepts out of Las Vegas. That'll be Chad Lyman, and then Blue Shield Tactical is Ray Brashears, and EFC is Wade. I think it's Wade. I forgot. I got to get his name. But he's a cool guy, but solid people. And then I'm from a small town called Bristol, Florida. We got like 2 caution lights. They finally got a grocery store in like the past 10 years. We really didn't ever have a real grocery store. So, but yeah, that's me. And yeah, I just I love being an instructor and just love helping people when I can. And I'm a big advocate for mental health and just teaching people that, hey, listen, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna go through things, but it's how you come back from it, and that's it.
Much
that's
love,
what's
brother.
up, bro.
Much love.
Heck yeah.
That's what's up. What age did you say you started to enter the mental health side of
So
corrections?
I got mental health. Now mental health correct. So I got a mental health before I was like 19. I was a psychiatric aide, which kind of led me to corrections because I realized I was like, man, I'm doing the same job a little bit different, but they're making more money than me. So I might as well. I need to go in it. So then that's when I went into Florida Department of Corrections. They have a program here in Florida, it's like your TEA. So basically, just like kind of like military. You start as a recruit, they train you up and stuff like that. So I went through that, and I went through school at Wakulla CI, which is outside of Tallahassee, Florida, the capital of Florida. And then from there, Liberty CI, which I was there almost right at 2 years. And then I just made a decision to leave. But when I was in the prison system, I'm lucky. I was very blessed. I had great people that like mentored me and like really took me under their wing. And my stay at prison, like Liberty wasn't what we call a camp. It wasn't like a really rough type camp. It wasn't that bad. I seen more in Louisiana, working corrections in Louisiana and working in the mental health side of corrections in Florida than I ever did in DOC. I seen a little bit, but not that bad. When I went back to the mental health side, which is the forensic side, where they have pending charges, they're incompetent to stand trial. That's where you had. I can talk about it now. He's passed away since, but Ada D. Mosley. There's an Apple TV documentary on him. He was a pretty rough serial killer. He was kind of around this, not the exact same time, but around those years of Ted Bundy too. But
I
he was,
did go
man.
check him out too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
see how
mentioned him on
jacked
the
he
last
was,
episode.
bro. He was Jack Diesel. Like when I met him, he was he was getting kind. He was old, starting to be an older man. but I've seen pictures of it. I watched the documentary. This dude was jacked. He would, you know, unfortunately, you know, his victims, he would snap their neck with his hands. That's how strong he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was. He
Talk to
wasn't
me
no
about
joke.
this part with him, because him I did check out on
Okay.
YouTube and all.
Yeah, so he was
I
a
want
very
to know. Oh, I'm sorry.
interesting fella. No, you good.
Yeah. Because I want to know like how the other inmates how they talked about him, or were they afraid of?
Okay,
You
so
know,
when I met
yeah.
him, I was still a psychiatric aide, what they call a human service
Oh,
worker.
I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Tell him who he was again.
Uh,
Let everybody know real quick. We're talking about.
he was a Eddie D. Mosley. He was a serial killer in the state of
There we
Florida, mostly down south. And he was, he. You know, what's crazy is, and it sounds weird to say, but when I met him, I was still psychiatric. I hadn't went to corrections yet, and I will tell you, he was one of the most smart, articulate, and well put. I mean, his room was immaculate. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you would have thought he went to the military. The way I'm serious. The way he made his bed, you would have thought he went to the military. Even as an older man, he was in great shape. He worked out every morning. He was very clean, meticulous, and it was crazy because we had some wild guys on that hall. It was on the 4th floor in Chattahoochee, Florida, at Florida State Hospital, and there was some rough guys that was from all over the state of Florida, Miami, Tampa, and these guys wasn't no softies. They was about that. Like, they was terrified of him. I mean, some of them was 10, 15, 20 years younger than him, and they was wild and they'll fight everybody, but nobody would go in his room. Like, and it was crazy. I'll never forget, there was a fist fight between these guys, and they got near his room, and it was like they knew it, they seen him, and they kind of like started like move. I don't know how they did. Like they moved the fight in the middle of the hall to stay away from his room. Like he was, and I've never seen nobody like, because his victims were, of course, they were all women, and when he would look through. Literally, he would look through women, but he was something serious, man. He was something serious. Yep, Eddie D. Mosley. They go right to the story. Eddie Mosley. He was a rough dude, and he was strong. But even as an older guy, like you see there,
who we're talking about here?
Oh yeah, he was a big dude. He was really big. I actually had a chance to, through being an instructor at Chipola College, and just being an instructor, I started traveling and meeting people, and I actually did some contracting, outsourced my skills to a sheriff's department up here. And I met a guy that used to work with somebody that actually worked his case down south in Fort Lauderdale area. And they were like, man, he was massive. I was like, as he got older, he wasn't that big, of course, age and stuff. But when he was young, man, that dude was humongous. I was like, I could see how and he was a problem. Like he gave the law down there a problem. He wasn't nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. But yeah, he was an interest, but he was just so, I mean, it's weird to say, but I told people, man, like he was so intelligent. Like I talked to him about all kind of stuff, because on the hall you work with him and stuff, and he would always, but I'm gonna tell you one thing he says, and when I hear people say this, they creep me out to this day. He'd be like, "Hello, my friend," and I'd be like, so when I hear like somebody like that I may meet, and they be like, "Hello, my friend," I'm like, the first thing, like literally, it is embedded in my head. I cannot. When I hear that, he's the first thing I think of. I'm like, this is crazy. So you can't get it out. It's wild. It's wild. But the mental health side is just totally different. Like, and even when I left as being a psychiatric aide and stuff like that, and also with him,
is that how you remember him?
They did
when he was older. Is that how you? Is that his?
Nah,
older pick?
He looked a little. Right? He looked that. Yeah, but that because I didn't see him because he they said he got worse. I think because he ended up getting sick as he got older, and he actually it was COVID that took him out from everything I've heard. Is COVID ended up taking him out. But yeah. Because he used to have, when I met him, he still had an afro a little bit, and but listen, he always wore a jumpsuit. He always wore like a like old school track suits. He always wore one of them, clean cut. He would walk the hall up and down to get his exercise. He would do push-ups and sit-ups. And man, I've never seen a room so clean. I'm talking about like, dude, like he cleaned his room every morning. Like he didn't play, and he was very meticulous. People didn't. It was funny because when he would eat, they would, if he didn't want you around, the rest of them guys didn't go around him because they knew better to play with him because he just wasn't nothing to play with.
Jesus.
Yeah, but he wasn't nothing. But yeah, but we didn't have women barely. Like they may come, but they really didn't like women working on that dorm at all either. Because I mean, he would look straight through him. I've never seen nothing like that to this day. Like him, like he was nothing to play with.
Did you get any insider information on where that hatred from women come from?
No, because you really because if you end up, one thing about him, I remember I would try to talk to him a little bit, and if he was very good at deflecting and redirecting any type of conversation, that if he felt like it was gonna go anything about why he did what he did or whatever, he would deflect it real good. But I remember one time I remember one of them young guys, they went in his room and did something. He went ape shit. I mean, he was I'm serious, he was pissed off. And we never knew who went in his room, but I remember he was mad, and he gave a warning to everybody to stay out of his room. He better not catch nobody. But for the most, crazy thing about it is, as dangerous as he really was probably the most well-mannered person in there. He just he just chilled, he did his thing, he was super articulate, he read, but he we knew, why he was in there, but yeah, he wasn't nothing to play with. But it was interesting to see, as much as you seen it, WarDawg, you seen the video, all the stuff he did. You would think he'd be just pure hell every day, but he actually was fine, which was kind of weird. And he's the opposite from some people I've dealt with. But when I went on the correction side of it, which they call us, we're security, but you have to be a certified correction officer in Florida to work on the forensic side. But they call it institutional security specialist. But in statute it says personnel, but they say institutional security specialist 1, 2, 3, whatever, and it goes up. But it's crazy how like you get him, and then you get these wild ones that are just like these young guys. They just fight all the time, and it's interesting. I mean, we had a guy, because of hip I can't say his name, of course, but we had a guy, man. He bit through his bicep. He ate his bicep.
Holy shit!
I'm not telling you
in custody.
I was there. I was there in the room. I seen it. He bit. He literally he didn't bite. He ate it. He literally was eating his bicep. You could see. You could see in his, like, you could put your finger all the way in his bicep.
And you're calling me the CEO of the psych ward gang, WarDawg.
Hey, let's go ahead and say it. If we get any strikes, bans for this episode, I don't give a fuck. Let's ride. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Wait, but isn't it? It fascinates me. It fascinates me so much, because we're not the only people like it. True crime is such a massive part of what we watch and indulge our movies and series is around, mate. Everyone is intrigued with how this works for someone like that. That's always fascinated me. Is like, is that darkness in all of us? That's the question I always ask you. Like, is that darkness in all of us? That, does it just take one thing to snap, then all of a sudden we become?
Well, Larry told you that last episode. He
said, I think it is.
Agreed with him. He said we're one trauma away.
Yeah, I feel like
that's exactly. I do remember that.
I mean, because
Larry said we're one trauma away.
If you think about it, you'll have people. I mean, think about it. You have people that are billionaires, and then they want to end their lives.
Yep.
I mean, so it's like, but then you have a person that doesn't have much, but they're the happiest person in the world. So it's
person in the world.
I feel like we're just all one trauma or one
way. Yeah, 100%. Sorry, brother. I did remember that.
Oh no, you're good, man. But you think about it. So it's just, I mean, I you can't really judge anybody, because it happened here. Something could happen where we just totally just go, all right, I don't care no more. So it's scary. And if you think about it, it's happening more often than you've ever seen it before. I mean, think about how many. I mean, because if you look at it, I had just I put it on my story on Instagram, but like I don't know the numbers for for internationally, but I know in America, like men are over 50, we're over 50% of suicides in America.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's crazy. Like, people just, and some people, and it could be somebody close to you, maybe, and it don't even have to be a war veteran. It could be somebody they just struggling and they don't see a way out,
Right.
So
we're finding that. I find that even in the construction industry in Australia, mate, the suicide rates for males is absolutely phenomenal now.
See, that's scary.
Yeah, man.
That's scary. I mean, and if you look at it, like, I've met, this is all true, no BS. I've met chiropractors. I've met he was a, I don't know exactly what he did, but he worked for NASA at one point.
Yeah.
NFL players. I mean,
Yeah.
you got all these people that have all these professions, like, and they're like nurses, all kind of stuff, and like, or psychologists. And then it's like something happens, they snap,
Happens.
and then they do whatever, and then they have like where it's it's a crime, so they come on our side, on the forensic side, and it's like, man, it's scary. It's like, man, that could, like, that's why I tell people, like, oh man, like this person has this job where they make 6 figures of this, and they have all this. You can have stuff all you want, but you can have stuff and still go, and something happen and you snap and lose it, or you make a mistake and do something you can't come back for, or somebody does something and you just lose, like flipping your lid, like they talk about flipping your lid, and then you have no control, you black out and do something crazy. So I mean, it could happen to any of us, but I'll tell you, man, and it's just like it makes you really see how serious it is, like, especially working like in mental health on that side, being correction officer, security officer, whatever you want to call us, but working on that side. Like, I remember I had a guy that was down there. I remember he pulled his eyeball out one day, like this. So we, they went through the process, took him to the hospital, all these different things. He comes back. I don't know. The timeline is I can't remember exactly, but I know it was a little bit time later. He pulls his second eyeball out and eats it. I was there that day. Yeah. I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
And then he's quoting Bible verses. Like, and there's there's a Bible verse, and I can't remember the exact verse, but I had a buddy of mine that actually told me, because he and then I had a cousin who's, man, very versed in the Bible, and he was able to tell me the verse. But it basically talks about, like, if it be sin, let it then pluck it out. But he took it literally, and I don't think the verse he was quoting is not exactly the way he took it. He took it literally, and he pulled it out and he ate it. And I remember the weirdest thing about that situation was he was calm. He wasn't like tripping or screaming, and he was just as calm and quiet. And what was crazy was I was in the back of the ambulance. They was, running his vitals. And I remember the paramedic said, "You said he pulled his eyeball out and ate it?" I'm like, "Yeah." They literally was like, "Hold on. His vitals are too normal." That's when I ain't gonna lie, I was freaked out that day. That was the day I was freaked out. I ain't gonna lie, I was freaked out that day.
Hey, tell me something though. How were you in a position to observe all of this?
Oh, because
was he already like under surveillance or something?
No, like, we got a call. So, like, basically the way it worked when I worked my last place I worked for on the security side with mental health was basically, they get a call. They call us on the dorm. There's something going on, so they called us down there, and then we're like, "What's going on?" It's like, "Oh man, he just pulled his eyeball out and he's eating it." And I'm like, "What?" I remember, like, because there would be a lot of violent situations happen, so that's normal. Like, that didn't bother me. Like, the whole violence part, they want to get combative or weapons or fight, whatever. That didn't bother me. But I remember I was like, how do you even respond to that? It's just like the guy. It's just like the guy eating his arm. I mean, he literally eating his box. Like,
hold up. Can you do us a favor?
Yeah.
Do us a favor, because people on YouTube can relate to this. All right. Start to name your facilities and about what years, about what time frame. Because the same way other guys are like, yeah, I was at this facility or at this time, this block.
I don't remember exactly when that one happened. It's been some years back, but then I was working.
Okay, how about not time frame then? But like you said, at least can you name the facility? So
at that time,
whatever, people that know it.
I was working for Florida State Hospital at that time. Yeah, I was working at Florida State Hospital in Chattahoochee. I'm finna say that country name again, Chattahoochee, Florida.
Oh, let them know though. That's the state mental health. That's the
biggest one in the state of Florida. I mean, and I want to say, I'm not sure about the West Coast of the country, but I know on the East Coast, we're one of the few places still like that. Most places are like we are, like when I worked there, they're closed down. But I think we're one of the biggest in the country that's still open. Because that place has been there forever. Because it used to be an old fort.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
About how many beds are in there? How many patients you think they take care of?
Well, I would say now probably way more. I'd say now just like overall the whole hospital well over at least 300 or more.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about now. Because I'm not there anymore. But yeah, I know it's got to be at least 300.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Yeah. Okay.
About that facility you just mentioned, and Tomo, this is in relation to you also. All right.
Yeah.
That state mental hospital. All right. I was told at one time that if my behavior after the war, my suicide behavior, that sort of stuff, and just rage as a Marine, I won't lie to you, I wanted to challenge at some moments. Yeah, I had this thing in my head where I wanted to challenge a Marine versus a cop, and not just Marine. I wanted to challenge a grunt. I wanted to challenge infantry grunt versus a cop. I wanted to challenge 3 times in Iraq versus authority.
Oh boy.
Right, but it came up that hey, if my behavior got bad enough, I would have to be sent to not just your local psych wards that are hold you from 3 days to on 72 hours to on. I'd be sent to the big house, right? And it just so happened that they were saying that they were like, okay, this happened. I had 2 incidents within the same month, right, where they had to take me involuntarily. They said I was yelling out contact right like I was in the war, shit like that. Right. They told me if I would have had 3 outbreaks like that in the same month, they would end up sending me to that Florida State Mental Hospital that you just mentioned.
Man. Well, I'm glad you didn't go. I don't want you to go there.
Is that possible?
Oh, yeah. It's possible.
Have you ever heard anything like that?
It's possible.
Oh, shit. I would have been psycho. I would have never came out this motherfucker to meet y'all.
God. It just depends. Like if you wouldn't have had like any like charges, they have like which is more of your Baker Act part. They have a unit like that. But the majority, it's like civil and forensic. Now you don't want to go forensic side. It's a lot different now. It's changed over the years. Laws change, statutes, all that stuff.
Oh, I admit, I need my meds. Fuck that. I ain't ashamed of them.
Oh, well, no, you shouldn't be ashamed. Hey, you getting yourself
What kept me alive and out of prison, what kept me out of confinement is taking my meds, counseling, everything that they offer, bro.
But there's nothing wrong with that, because think of the things both of y'all men have seen. I mean, let's be honest. It's just like, in recent news, we won't say the name because we don't want to get episode shadow banned or nothing, but just what happened in America with somebody getting assassinated. You got to think that happened on national TV. That is not the human brain is not meant to see stuff like that. Man. And they just, in a way, it kind of normalized it, which
they've done desensitizing us all.
Yes, which is not good.
You're not supposed to see that shit.
You're not supposed to see that. So think about it. Y'all seen things that most human beings will never see, and they really, shouldn't see. But it's just is what it is, and it's the price that you have to pay from that.
That's why we signed that dotted line.
Yeah, that's why you signed it. So it's just like in and I can say this, I can't speak for every state, but in Florida, I feel like correction officers get crapped on a lot, and they don't get the respect they should for as certain things. But people need to look at that. But just like a cop or a military, somebody's in the military gets PTSD, like correction officers see it too. Because you see some. Because you got to think, cops arrest them, they go through the system, and then they come to or the prison or mental health or where it is. And sometimes we deal with the most worst part of them. Just recently, someone I know dealt with a situation where an inmate basically just, he took his own life, but basically almost pretty much cut his own head off.
Wow.
It's like,
I don't think I heard that right. Run that back. Run that back. I don't think I heard that right.
So there was a situation where I'm guessing, the inmate, he was working in like a workshop or whatever, and for some reason he took his own life, and he pretty much almost decapitated his own self. So you got to think, officers come in, they see this stuff. It's just like when I was in, Pollock, Louisiana, and
fuck that. With what? With what?
I guess it was like
almost
assault.
Decapitated.
Like assault. It was some type of assault. I mean, he was in a workshop working. I mean, but it
Sure.
was like a saw. I mean, so you got to think though. So
Okay.
think about this
Okay.
though. This is what people are like. Okay, I mean that's a horrible situation, but think about this. You got officers that have to respond. They have to be there.
Fine.
They have to clean the scene. Have to lock it down because now it's a crime scene. You know, it's just like I'll never forget when I was in Pollock, Louisiana, and they stabbed the guy 67 times. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, what?
Oh
I
fuck.
mean, it's
Fuck.
just. I mean, you see stuff like you see somebody,
Oh,
eating their own eyeballs out, or eating feces or beating themselves, like trying to hurt themselves. Like that's not. You get like the stimulus is so much. You get that so much, and it's like that's a lot. And then
It
and
is,
then you're
man.
supposed
It's
to be
a
normal.
hell of a lot.
Yeah. And
I
then
was
like
I was going to ask about that. How do you come? What's your decompression? What's your decompression like after an incident like that? Do you have a protocol that you just go into or anything like that, or you just got to go home and deal with that shit yourself?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like I've been blessed enough to work with some good people who like we kind of looked after each other. But when I look back at it now, I'm like they have no system because like
Yeah.
okay, you see a guy eat his arm out or a guy pulls his eyeball and eats it, and you have to respond. Or you had a guy who's I have officers that I work with that responded to somebody that hung themselves. There's no
Mm.
protocol that says okay, well this happened. We're gonna get all these officers together. We're gonna debrief them, talk
Yeah.
about it, see it. Maybe it. Y'all guys know it. You're in the military. It's the hey everybody, all right, everybody good. The
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah.
But there's no real
Yeah.
like unless you got that you have that good relationship with your battle buddy or your friend or somebody you work with. Like hey, listen, I've been blessed to have the people I work with. They're like hey man, you good? We good. And we talk about it amongst ourselves. But there was no protocol in place for these things. And basically, it's that, toughen it up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you should toughen it up. And unfortunately, I can say this now, like it doesn't, the violence, because you see it so much, you see weird things or stuff you can't really explain. And it's just like,
Yeah.
well, I don't even know what to say about this.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of, you just deal with it. I mean, for me personally,
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu has been a huge for my. I mean, it's just I don't care what nobody says. Like, I was teaching last night, and me and one of the guys were talking about how he was dealing with some things personally, and he was like, man, he said, Larry, if it wasn't for Jiu-Jitsu, man, I'd probably lose my mind because he's got some stuff
Yeah.
going on in his family, with his mom or whatever, and it's like, man, it's like you're right. I mean, because it's therapeutic, it's good for the mind, the problem solving, and then uh, I actually recently had a young man that I do privates with, and he told his parents that the only time he feels like himself is when he's on the mat, and this kid's like
Yeah. Yeah.
16. So it's like there's something to be said about like martial arts, working out, doing something like hard and something like complicated that makes you think, that makes you refocus your brain, especially after seeing something like that. Because I think about I had a guy I worked with. He's since retired, but uh, Mr. Henry, and I never forget something he said. He said, "Man, I hope we don't go to hell for the stuff we've had to do just to
Yeah.
survive in here." And I was like,
Yeah.
and it hit me, and I always have thought about what he said because it's just like when you're in the military, or you're in law enforcement, or you're a first responder, as far as a cop goes, or you're in the corrections. You have to, at times, become a different person to survive that environment, especially depending on
Why not?
how bad the environment. You can go to some people they work at a prison or work somewhere. It's not that bad, or maybe you deploy somewhere and there's nothing going on. Then there's that time where you go to this institution or this facility or this combat zone, it's rocking and rolling, whatever it may be, whatever your situation is, or you're a cop in a very bad area where, and people frown upon it, but it's like to survive that, the mental part of it, especially if you
You do.
have heart, you have an empathy, you have empathy for people, and sometimes you'll see people like I've seen people like, dang, they remind you of somebody or and you're like, man, that could have been my cousin, my brother, my sister, or it could have been me. So
Man,
it's
and it's
it's hard.
I'm getting a little emotional, man, because that's exactly how I explain it for me, bro. I was never meant to be hard. War made me hard. War made me turn into someone that I wasn't. I'm a big softie. My
Yeah.
heart's way too big. I act all tough and shit, but deep down, man, I'm soft and sensitive, and you know, you had to change that. that person. And I could go back to the exact moment within my deployment where that shit changed, and that was my first patrol back from leave. And my two mates had been killed while I was on leave. And that first patrol back, the first time the shots rang out, man, there was no, the first half of that trip I was in, I couldn't even focus. Shots rang out, and all of a sudden I was just in a firing position, taking cover. Mate, I just turned to the smoke and just went Rambo style, 30 rounds from the hip, and I was like, that's it. I've no longer, I've lost that fear. I've lost that thing, and that want for revenge, that anger in me. Like, man, I just wanted to kill shit. I wanted
Yeah.
that. I wanted to get that shit back, and I know that's exactly the moment where I snapped.
Oh yeah.
And I was no longer that young, sensitive soul, man. I would turn it into a hardened fucking warrior that was ready to take lives.
Yeah, but think about this though. You did your mind, your body adapted. Like you had no choice.
That's it.
It was like to
Exactly right.
survival. Your mind and your body did what it needed to do to get you prepared, so you could actually do what you needed to do. And it's just like. So I'll put it this way. So I remember when I had surgery. I got hurt, had surgery. When I come back, I'll never forget. Uh, he like a older brother to me, and a mentor. He's wild, but I remember he said, "Oh, you changed. You lost your
Mhm.
edge."
Yeah.
And I realized that I kind of, because I was out for so long,
For
I
so long.
noticed
Yeah.
that's a real thing. It doesn't matter if you're a cop, you're in the military, you're in corrections. You once you get that edge, like where you're running to the danger, you're getting in the pile, in the fight, in whatever
Yep.
situation, combative situation, or use of force that, as we call it, should be called response to resistance, but whatever. But in the use of force, you have to do that. So it's like your brain, you build those calluses so you can be in those situations. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't care what nobody says, and I know y'all too know it to be true because you've been in war and you've seen the worst things that a human being can see and what the worst people can do to each other. And I'll tell you this ain't for everybody. This ain't for everybody. I'm serious. Like I've been in some sticky situations, in use of forces where, I mean, it was rough now, and we had to, put your head down, and you ain't got no mouthpiece on, but you better close your mouth, and you just got to get through the situation, because when you got a human being that really wants to hurt you, because of their mental state, or because they, they're looking at prison. They ain't crazy. They just like they gonna f you up. They don't care.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's hard, man. It's really hard, and I look at it now, because in the state of Florida, they dropped the age for corrections. Law enforcement is still 19. Which, I mean, looking at it, being in this, I have 15 years with the state, and I can tell you this personally. It's just my personal opinion, but my personal opinion, you need to be 25 at least
Well,
to
that's
go
when
in.
the male brain fucking matures.
Because like this ain't, I mean, you go to some place, like some institutes, like some prisons in Florida, man, they gladiator school. I mean, you
Yep.
better be ready to go. Like it ain't
Yep.
like these dudes will chew you up and spit you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And but even, I worked on the and the women prison side part-time for a while. And even on that side, like it ain't for the heartstrings, because some of them women, they'll the same thing, they'll chew you up and spit you out. And
Yep.
you got, people that get in, very bad situations, in both, on the mental health side, on the psych inmates with, those institutions, regular prisons or women's prisons, where they're getting relationships with them, or they're bringing in, contraband like dope, cell phones, all kind of stuff. They recently had a situation at a prison nearby where there was a zip gun. I'm not sure if y'all familiar with a zip gun, but basically it's like a homemade gun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like a homemade gun, and they can make it out of different materials. And they had to shut a prison down, and find it. Now I don't know. I didn't get any more information as far as if there was ammo on the compound or whatever, of the institution. But you think about these things, like, so your mind goes on high alert. So
Yeah.
it's a lot, and it's that hypervigilance.
Yeah.
Because it was funny. I was I was at a chiropractor, and it was so much going on with all these people and all this stuff, and like people walking behind me, and it's like you don't like that. You know, you get to that point, you're like, hey man, don't walk behind me. And I told the gentleman, I said, sir, I don't mean to be rude, but can you please stop walking behind me? Like, I'm trying to move out your way. Let me pay and get up out of here, because I don't like, I just don't like it. I mean, and it's just, I know y'all too, probably the same thing, especially when you're with your kids or you're with your family, or even by yourself. You go to a coffee shop, you go to any type of store, you're like, the rest of, you know, the people out there in society are like kind of in their own little bubble, own little world. And you're scanning the area and you're sitting, you don't want your back to the door. You want to be able to see the exits. And then if it's like a place where it's multiple exits, you're kind of like, I really don't like this because I can't see every exit. I mean, but it's just the truth, because you have to change as a person to survive in these environments. Be it corrections.
That's what I want. Can I pause you right there for a second?
Yeah, heck yeah.
I need to salute you, right? Because this is way different. You just said, you know, certain things we Tomo and I might pick up on as far as checking our surroundings, checking our six, that sort of thing. But bro, no, it is totally different. The war, you hear the word I'm using, the war that you face every day with inmates, and the proximity of how close they are to you, and whether or not you wearing something stab proof or not. And how far how long and how far your helping assistance, can get to you. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. That's why I had to bring you on, bro. I don't care that I will. Yeah, I'll admit whatever I've never done or been. All right. So Tomo's been to Afghanistan. I never stepped foot in Afghanistan, bro. I might have got caught my ticket day one. I don't know if I was tough enough, whatever, had good enough tactics to survive Afghanistan. But for whatever reason, Tomo went in that land and he came out, right? That same way for me, for Iraq 3 times, for you. Every facility that you have been in
100%.
and will continually go in, day in, day out, on a minute, watching the 60-second clock going tick, 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 tick. You are in there every minute, every second, people plotting on you, around you, through you.
Oh, yeah. You never know.
You, amongst you. So, no, we don't face your level of threat, bro. And when we do,
it's different.
We usually have rifles or machine guns. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the biggest part I need you to understand from me to you that would have always pissed me the fuck off and caused me to react differently, all right? Tomo and I were in foreign countries, bro. We don't understand what the fuck they were saying back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck they were saying back.
Yeah.
So if they we been able to understand their language, and we understood that they were calling us a sorry, ugly punk motherfucker, this, that, whatever else. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying?
We didn't have to hear it in their language.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't know. We just, whatever. They mad, hand and arms moving, spitting. We get the gist. You mad at us. We don't like it. You don't like whatever. But we don't hear the words. You motherfucker, fuck you. Kiss my ass, your mama, your sister, your grandma. You hear what I'm saying? And this is what even I want military guys to own up to as far as corrections. Okay, when we go to other countries, they don't, we don't know their language. So what they say back to us in response to something we say to them, we don't know what the fuck they're saying back exactly. Yeah. Okay.
No, that makes sense.
But Larry does. Larry and millions of others, all right, in U.S. corrections, state and federal and county, they do understand, all right, that when somebody tells you, hey, don't do this, stop, move, whatever, in a foreign language, he can say, hey, fuck you, whatever, asshole, your mama, your grandma. I don't understand, I got no issues. I'm just like, hey, he's saying back. But and plus, like I said, I have a gun in my hands. I have a rifle, or in my first 2 times in Iraq, I had a machine gun, automatic, 200 bullets a minute, baby, M249 Assault. You motherfucking get wrong with me, I tell you walk left. You either gonna walk left, or I got a grenade, a motherfucking bayonet, or you get what I'm saying? That helps a lot of the language barrier. I don't care where you are universally, right? But if they were ever to respond back to me in English where I could understand them, No, fuck you. No, you know what? Hey, okay, you know what? First time on this show, a whole lot of things happened first time on this episode. I did once, okay? When Fallujah was hot, right after they killed the Blackwater contractors, I went house to house in the Fallujah, right? I got to one fucking house. I said, open the fucking door. This little girl, college educated Iraqi, spoke English and told me motherfucking no. You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying now? This is in the middle of the motherfucking bombs dropping, whatever, the city on smash, bullets everywhere. In English, she told me no, she's not gonna open the door. I flipped, bro. I got good at not kicking doors from the front. I turned around, mule kicked that bitch open. They had a couch in front of the front door. I was in, you know how it is when you hella hype. I slung that bitch and the door and the couch out of my fucking way, picked up my weapon. I went, searched clear, found her, and I told her, you don't ever fucking goddamn tell me no if you speak in English when I'm coming to the motherfucking door, all right? I get exclusive with that right here, right now. My second tour in Iraq, I ran into one that spoke English, and she fucking told me no, she wouldn't open the door. The fuck? Do you see this big ass gun? My stripes in this motherfucker already. But like, hey, that was only verbal though. We only got verbal.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't point the weapon at her. I didn't get nasty. I didn't threaten. I didn't woo. You know what I'm saying? Rules of engagements were still followed. I was still honorable, but verbally, woo! Don't you ever motherfucker tell me you ain't gonna motherfucking open the door for me in English? The fuck you think I am? Think I can't halfway around the world just miss my second birthday in this motherfucker to hear you come and tell me no on my motherfucking day after my birthday? Fuck no. But I'm sorry. Hey, all that, like I said, I encapsulated to say this, Larry. It is way different. If I ever had to hear them say back in English where I understood them saying, no, I'm not doing this. No, and I have an issue with that. And this is why I joined the Marines, because I have bad customer service skills, all right? Once as an employee, hey, straight
Never
up,
have guessed.
I learned this.
You could work at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I'm being real. Look. As an employee, okay? Once I tell you, hey, I don't have what you want, and number two, I don't know, that's all I got to offer you. Okay? So everything negative and nasty that comes after that, you're asking for war from me. I picked this up just in high school working at Kmart, as like a little stockman janitor, that sort of thing, right?
Kmart.
Yeah, old school Kmart. You feel me? I'm going to high
We still
school
got
during the day
Kmart
working
dolls.
at Kmart. All right. Yeah. So that was when I learned for sure. Hey, Marines, the military, because I saw, see those guys who don't smile too much, cops, law enforcement, whatever. There's a reason they act like that.
Yep.
And with me and these customers, when I don't have what they want and they do and they say whatever to me, I cannot. That's why I knew I need to get to the Marines or to those occupations where people don't smile too much, where people aren't always so happy-go-lucky. I have what you need. Hello, greeting you at the. I ain't that dude.
But
you call me for that other shit.
You bring up a good point, because I think there's a disconnect, and I think people don't realize like and people can look at it as you do get verbal abuse all the time. Like now I'm in a situation where I really don't have to deal with it. The facility I'm at now is very chill. We have problems every now and again, but in the past, I'd have been called everything under the sun. Racial slurs. I'd have been called anything you can think of that they will say to get you to react or do anything. They're gonna call you names. It's the verbal abuse, and you gotta get used to. I think as a younger man or woman that gets in the field, you're probably a little more hot headed when somebody calls you, hey motherfucker this, or this or that, or they call you out your name. You ready to a little bit more fight. But I think as you get in the field, you get more experience. You really get a callous to where you just like, okay, whatever. And you get to a point where you go in your mind, you say, man, that's the best you got. Like I done heard worse. I done been called worse. So you learn to, not let it bother you. But I'm really glad that you brought that up, because in the past, like when I first started, I done been called some things, said some things, and you'll hear these things, you go, dang. Now you hear, whatever. You're going to get called names. They get mad. They, F you. And, I'm gonna kick, I'm gonna kick your ass and this and that. Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that millions of times. Like, you gotta do better than that. Like, because that's a normal thing you hear. But I think that's a lot of times, I don't think, I'm glad you touched on it. I don't think people really understand, like, cops and, correctional officers, be it on the mental health side, or just in regular prisons or the jails, you get all kind of stuff. And if you're a female, it's kind of worse. Guys, another guy just gonna say stuff, just try to make you fight him or make you make a mistake or whatever. But with females, they talking to their pants, or, they'll be what they call, we call in the prison systems, gunning them, which is basically masturbating off them and crap. I mean, you have these things that happen. I mean, so I sometimes think it's harder for a female than it is for a guy, because, I mean, which they'll do the same thing to a guy, but the females, oh man, they go at them hard sometimes. And then I'm gonna tell you this, like, I have a friend who's still currently active in a prison system, so I won't say her name, but she when she went in, she was really like just a good, just like a sweethearted person, good person. She is lethal. Like, but she had to harden though, because in that environment, like, she's excelled because she had to harden herself up. She had to toughen herself. Like, she wasn't working out. She works out. She trains. She trains jiu-jitsu. She trains boxing. Like, she's tough as nails. And she's down south, but she ain't no pushover. But like she always said, she said, I had to get callous. I had to get thicker skin because of the things that people would, the inmates would say to her, and disrespected by, gunning her and stuff like that. But that's just what it is. And it's funny because some people say, like, they have a lot to say about the prison system, but I'm like, if you've never worked in there and seen what really goes on, you really need to stop, because it's a lot of stuff that goes on. People,
shut the fuck up.
They really need to just leave it alone, because when you work in there, it. It's just like if you talk to somebody that's a first responder, or even, and I don't care if you've never been in the military or whatever your situation, you never worked in prison. There is a connect to all us when you talk about, like, the things we've seen and how we process it, and what society may deem as, like, well, what we call dark humor. And I had to tell a friend of mine who heard a joke and was very, like, they felt some type of way, and they felt like, oh, that was wrong. And I said, well, I know those guys. And I said, let me tell you something. And I told them a little bit about the things they've saw. And they said, what? You see that type of stuff? Like, yeah. So them guys have seen some worse things than I had, way worse. So I told them, I said, you can judge a book by its cover, but you got to be careful, because that's how those guys cope with it. I mean, they could, we have EAP, they could go see a psychologist and stuff, but most people aren't going to do that. So this is the way that they deal with it. They compartmentalize it, and so they can go on with their lives. So, and if you're in the, you got guys and women in the military, they have dark humor if they've been in combat. People in prison, first responders, hell, even nurses have dark comedy.
100%, man, especially the psych ward nurses.
Yeah, they have, because they see bad things. And it's like, think about this. If you work in the ER, and especially if you work in the ER, like, let's say LA or Chicago or somewhere where a lot of stuff is going on, you're going to see some bad things. So you get so much stimulus of seeing this bad stuff, you have to figure out a way to deal with it. For me, I've been blessed. I'm not an addict of any kind. I don't drink anymore, but I mean, I did in the very, past, but I don't do drugs. I don't drink, and I like to work out. That's therapeutic for me. I like to do jiu-jitsu. I like to read books. I like to do puzzles. I like to go to the rock gym when I can, help people, teach. So you got to figure out your thing. But I think people really need to, because we're in a world now where, well, I'll say we're in a world, in a society now, this cancel culture and stuff, where people are so quick to say something, but it's like, I mean, what did we happen when everybody's so sensitive about stuff, and it's like, you go work in a prison, or you go to combat, or you go to work in a jail, or you go work in a psych, prison, or you go work in an ER or something where you see bad stuff all the time. It's like
too much doses of reality.
Yeah, just you realize how it could just in a matter of seconds, life can change for you dramatically. Like, you could, anything can happen. You could lose a leg, anything, you could snap, go crazy, something happens. But you just realize, like, people really need to back off and and look at these situations, because I have friends that, they have statements to say, and we have conversations about law enforcement. And here's the thing, y'all know this to be true: wherever you go, you're gonna have bad people, you're gonna have good people.
That's 100.
So it doesn't matter if you're in the military, if you're a nurse. Hell, it don't matter if you work at Walmart. You're gonna have employees that are bad, employees that do their job or whatever. But there's never gonna be a where there's nobody's perfect. So you're gonna have that, but you can't judge a whole profession or think all these people are horrible. They're like, oh, the prison system is bad. But it's like, here's my thing: there are people that do not care, and they will do some heinous things to you and your family, and they won't think twice about it. So I mean, and it's unfortunate that you get
That's the
somebody, you go
reality we
work in
live
these
in.
facilities, or you go. Yes, this is the reality we live in, and I think it's interesting because sometimes I don't think people realize, like, and I talk about it. I say it a lot with my friends. We have these conversations, and we talk about a jujitsu sometime, or some guys in the gym I talk to about. Everybody lives in this bubble, and for me, it's hard
Yep.
to live in it because I know it doesn't exist, and I
Exist.
understand that some people live in their bubble and they're happy and they don't care and they don't realize that, hey, I'm in Northern Florida and they're human trafficking all the time around here, or
Yep.
that I'm in you're in Australia and that all XYZ is going all the time, but they're still in their bubble. But you're alert and aware, and you see things that they don't see, because and a lot of times we're privy to information that they don't have, because we know people in law enforcement, we know people in the military, such and such, or in certain places that give us information or talk to us about certain things. But it's like, people got to wake up, like the world is not, it's not dandelions and sunny days all the time. Sometimes it's rough, and I've been blessed that, I'm not, I've been affected in a sense that, I understand what the environments I have been in, but I've made sure that I've, put systems in place and been aware of what's going on in my life, and to make sure that it doesn't change me for the bad. Because at one point, I can tell you now, the prison system will change you quick. Like in a matter of 6 months to a year, if you soft, and it's just what it is. If you're soft, if you're still there in a year, you're either gonna quit, or you're gonna do something stupid, or you just gonna harden up. I mean, and you just have
Yep.
to survive.
Yep.
Just like both of y'all, in your experiences of you losing two mates, and you being in Fallujah, like you have to become that person in that environment to survive. And it's just being adaptable. I mean, you're just being
Yep.
adaptable and making sure you come out on the other side. It's because you think about it, there's a lot of people been both places where you have, and some people didn't make it out. Some people, they made it out, but they didn't make it out.
Yep.
They made it out physically, but not mentally. And I meet people that they can't, like, they become, like, I get it, it's a profession, we need to get better, but we don't need to lose ourselves in the profession or whatever we do. But sometimes it happens because of the things you see, and you just got to deal with it.
100%, bro. This has really resonated massively today. It's at the core of it, it's going back to that hypervigilance and stuff. These environments create a certain rewiring in the brain that makes us think and react differently. And when you're in harsh environments on a constant, you have to adapt. And the body and the mind, more importantly, has a great way of
Mhm.
doing that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um, we touched on the dark humor, and it's something you've explained that to me. No matter where you are, and when you're in these type of environments, this is what we take on to be able to process it in our own ways. It's interesting, man. Like the way the brain functions, man. But more importantly, brother, like from such a young age, to come out to where you are with such the positive insight with it, not having to fall into these traps of addiction and stuff, places that we try to take ourselves away to. For me, I'm still an addict. I'd like to see it's a hell of a lot more under control, and now it's done by the doctors. But I've spent this last week over here in Thailand, getting off my medicinal cannabis. I'm off all my meds for the first time in a very long time, man. And sitting here having these conversations, man, the brain's processing, and absorbing this information a lot differently than I normally would, just with a different clarity now. So it's been really cool, man. This last probably 12 months for me is, I think for me personally, the biggest thing is removing that ego. You know, we talked about the thing, something I had never even considered until WarDawg brought that up, man. And the difference about them being able to speak back to you, you know, and
Yeah,
we're not
that's
having to
actually interesting.
understand them. Well, it is, man, because they say that old saying. I don't know if it's the same over in the States to you guys, but we grow up, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will, words will never hurt you.
Yeah,
But that's fucking bullshit.
yeah. Words have
Because
power. They can have power.
fucking
If you
knows they
allow
do,
them to have
man.
power, they will have power. And
1,000,000%, bro. And we're
at
not trained
certain
not to
age,
not to give words power, are we?
yeah,
We
you're
have
right.
to we have to build that shit in. You guys have to build that in on a constant,
Mhm.
working in that environment. Because you've got such sick people spitting such nasty shit at you.
Yeah. And some days you're not gonna be successful at it. Some days you're gonna it's gonna get to you. I mean, it's just you're
Yep.
human. So
Human,
they may
exactly.
say something on the wrong day, the wrong right day, and you can't help but feel some type of way about it. Or they may just say something that it just hits you, and you're like, what? But
Mm,
you get to it. But it's interesting on how the brain processes it, and you'll see some people they're able to callous their mind really fast, and some people it takes them a while. It just
yeah.
depends. I can imagine in your situation, like you said, you went in as a young man and you come out as a warrior.
Yeah.
So, and you look at that. Everybody's transition through whatever situation they're in, being a firefighter, a nurse, a cop, a correction officer, whatever. That transition. And some people, this it doesn't bother them. They can switch quick and they build that callus and they can deal with whatever they're the all the things they're seeing and hearing. And then some people,
Yeah.
it constantly bothers them. Like I have a
Yeah.
friend, she's a nurse and she always has like, man, I can't do this no more. So it's different
Yeah.
for everybody.
Well,
Different
mate,
for
I can
everybody.
relate to it with so many of my veteran mates that have come back and gone back into law enforcement or into corrections. Um, we're looked at going in those professions as you butte, but then I've also got the experience of these guys, like the behind the scenes shit, man. They, for a lot of war veterans that I know that went into to corrections or into the police, they had to leave the job because uh, the rules of engagement were a lot different, and they couldn't handle.
Yep.
They couldn't handle it, especially having a gun on their hip and stuff like that, man, or in a position where they can enforce that power, man. It causes more problems for them. They've had to step outside of that. And then having spent time in the wards, man, I consider myself in Australia very lucky. I think we're probably the second best looked after uh, uh, military in the world when it comes to discharge. And I know I'm probably going to piss a lot of Australians off by saying this, but you look at the statistics. I think Canada is the only other country that has the type of resources available to them to provide to their ex-servicemen. And sorry, man, getting all fucking emotional today.
No,
The
it's
brain's
okay,
starting to
brother.
go
It's
fuck.
okay.
It's yeah, man. Like seeing these guys in that transition, and it's crazy. What was I just saying? I've just lost my brain again.
But now you were just saying that Australia and Canada, the resources for veterans.
Yeah, mate. Oh well, having those things in, man. Like they've got to be used, man. Like I've lost where I was going again. There's that. Well, I'll probably
Traumatic
maybe
brain
straight. Yeah, I was sitting there the other day, man. Just go. Yeah, I've fucking. But not only have I been, close to too many explosions, I've fucking like to jump in the rings with fucking 140 kilo Kiwis and get my head punched in as therapy. So, yeah, maybe I've taken a few too many knocks to the head.
Hey,
But
Larry.
anyways, man, it's just
Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
go for it, Wardog.
No,
Cut
no,
me
you
off.
go. You go.
I'm just
You go.
no, bro. I'm just dribbling now because I'm trying to remember what I was speaking about.
You good, brother?
All right, Larry. I got to
Yes,
get
sir.
hella serious with you. Hella serious. All
Okay.
right.
All right. Let's get
You
serious.
and I are in a very strange, unique position in life right now to talk about what I'm about to bring up. All right.
Okay. Oh boy.
It's ongoing. so we're not gonna it's ongoing, so we're not gonna get into the hash marks of it being ongoing or
Mhm.
what can't that part. But I'm gonna inform you of what happened.
Okay.
Um, ask you if you know of the situation or the person.
Okay.
And for the first time publicly, I'm gonna disclose that yeah, this is my blood cousin. This
Okay.
is an army. He is an army veteran who also served in Afghanistan. And all of this, all of us, you, Tomo, I, we all connect in a circle with this. All right,
Okay.
Tomo, because Tomo's an Afghanistan veteran like my cousin. You're in corrections. You're gonna, you're understanding what it's all a circle. All right.
Okay.
I just need to ask you first off, what's your experience with death row?
I don't have an experience with death row. That's done at Florida State Prison. I never wanted to go down there, but there was never any really opportunities or anything. But because I never wanted to move that part of the state. But yeah, I don't have any experience with it. I know people that have like officers that have went there for some reason, like training or just like they took somebody there, but I don't know anything about it. Pretty much, I do know that we haven't actually executed anybody in a long time. It's been a while.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Right.
it's been a good while since Florida has executed anybody. Now Texas is totally different, but yeah, us we don't really. I mean, we have death row, but I can't remember the last time we even used it or it was even implemented. As far as actually completing it, so I think it's just there.
Not how about any personal experience with inmates with convicts, death row at all, transporting them, anything?
We had one that they brought one time when I was still in Chattahoochee for evaluation. It was really weird because that was the only time that ever happened. But they brought this inmate, and I mean, they had officers there that had to sit there and watch him. But they brought him there for a psych evaluation, and it was a really weird thing because he was there not too long, maybe a couple weeks. But I remember it was just I was like, we're not this like for this guy. We just weren't that type equipped for somebody like him. But yeah, he ended up disappearing. I mean, I don't know if I know they didn't. Obviously, they didn't execute him, but I just think he just went back to prison. I'm not sure what they did, but that's the funny thing about death row inmates. And of course, and a lot of people may not know this, but even if let's say if somebody gets death row, they can appeal it.
Yep.
They can appeal it. So I mean, they may spend. And I don't know. I can't remember how many appeals that they can do. I don't think
it's 3. Is it 3? I think
it might be that.
along.
I can't really remember about that, but I know they can appeal it and they can fight it. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, you look at it. I know a lot of people have a lot to say about that. For me, the only thing I get confused about is you do it. Well, just for Florida, I can't speak for any other state, but you'll have inmates on death row, but I think the likelihood of them dying in prison is more high than them actually getting executed in the state of Florida. And probably a lot of other places, like except Texas. I keep saying Texas, but Texas could do it. I mean, they'll still do it. I mean, and then you have Utah. I don't know if they did it, but here in the past year, they had a guy that they were going to actually execute by firing squad because it's actually still in their bylaws.
Same as Thailand.
I read about that recently.
Thailand had that too,
or not?
Yeah, bro.
Paper, but damn, I'm old. I said paper. What the fuck's wrong with me? I meant
online newspaper.
I read online.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Just online. Yeah. But yeah, they had him. I'm not sure if they ever executed that guy or not, but I know they had talked about it. But yeah, they were going to do it by firing squad because some states in America still have that in their laws, and some of them even have hanging. They still have public hanging, and I mean they don't do it, but they can if they wanted to.
It's still there in the laws.
Still there. A lot of people don't even know that. But like I say, people are in their bubble. I mean, I don't. Yeah. It's kind of like when you're. It's just like we talked about the dark humor thing. Some people understand it, and I'll tell people. Some people are, oh man, military guys, cops, and stuff. I'm gonna tell you who got dark humor more than anybody. It's like EMTs and paramedics. Good God, their dark humor is scary.
Yes, it is.
I think theirs is worse than anybody. But I mean, it's how they deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your cousin, you were talking about your cousin. So you,
Yeah, I need to make sure you're ready to go deep and dark as we're about to go with this.
yeah, I'm fine, man. Let's rock and roll.
All right, all right. Now I was asking you all of the questions concerning death row because my cousin is facing death row for his crime.
Okay.
All right, you might have heard about it. I know you know the Daytona Beach area.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show his face. I'm gonna show his face, and then we're gonna show a real quick snippet of
Yes,
what
I
the
remember
media has been
seeing
saying
this.
about him. Are familiar with this?
Yep, I am
Okay, so let
familiar.
me tell you then. All right, this is my blood cousin, Charles Leon Ivy. All right, he is in our he is an Army infantry, Afghanistan war veteran. All right,
Okay.
all right, keep that in mind. All right, he is in a U.S. Army Afghanistan war veteran. U.S. Army infantry. All right, let it be known he's a grunt. All right, he put in work. He saw what it was to be seen. All right, and like I told you before, I never stepped foot in Afghanistan like him nor Tomo. All right, so I have the utmost respect. I don't know what my gun game would have been like if I was good enough to survive in Afghanistan, but they did. So that's why I always respect anybody who's done anything or been anywhere, haven't been. But this is my blood cousin, all right?
Mm-hmm.
First time I've ever owned up to this or spoke about it. I have contemplated going since we're now a little more of a media organization or entity, and we actually have, business numbers and all, to go in to interview him about this. But real quick, all right. Um, my cousin, 34 years old, got into some kind of disagreement with the mother of two of his children. All right. Long story short, at the end of the disagreement, the mother, was stabbed over 100 times, and when my cousin left, he set the house on fire, and inside of the house was the the mother of his children, plus a 10-month-old baby boy, plus his own 4-year-old and 5-year-old sons. All right, so the 10-month-old baby boy was not his, but the older 4 and 5-year-old son and daughter were still in the house. So at the end of that disagreement, he's like I said, he stabbed her over 100 times. He set the house on fire. He placed we'll see, we'll go through it all in the story. But just like I said, this is my first time revealing this. All right. So I want you to help me and explain to me in real time, because this happened 2 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
we're about to start hearing a whole lot about this more and more in the news. Because like I said,
he hasn't been to court yet, has he?
right.
Yeah,
So but
Yeah.
YouTube's been rumbling lately about things that are moving and happening. Because it's been 2 years, it's about time for things to happen. So I want you to give us your perspective also, like from you seeing veterans that might have or not have snapped or PTSD type of thing, you as in being on the correction side of things, and what for what he is accused of, sort of thing, right? And then how bad you
And
can
we,
speak on that in the correction side. You know what I'm saying? For the offense.
Yeah.
We're gonna be blood
and I
real
just
and
want to
raw.
touch on that just before we keep going, guys. I just want to touch on that. He's been accused. Yeah. I'm a big one for innocent until proven guilty. That's why we have a law system, and that's why
Oh
we've
yeah.
got a judicial system to put these guys through. So, I just wanted to make sure that this guy hasn't been found guilty yet. We're into this story because we want to understand what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you. Well, first of all, man, that's a horrible situation. It's just it's a
But
tragedy.
before you get into it, I got a little
Yeah,
quick,
you good.
like I said, you see, I was gonna show it, so I don't know if you want to speak about it now. Yeah, go ahead, speak about it before you see
You
it.
sure? Okay.
After, go ahead.
Yeah. I was
Before,
just gonna say
during.
I mean, I would say first of all, it's a tragedy, and God rest the souls of all of them. And it's just it's a horrible situation. Because here's my thing. He's innocent until proven guilty. He's got to go through the court systems and let the judicial system do its job, both defense and the prosecution. But the one thing that I do want to say that I think is really important is, depending on how things go, how the case go, is, if he is found guilty and there's like been a history of like problems, like he's been struggling and stuff like that. And, I've heard people say this before, and it does bother me because, I have friends and, I have a mother who, was, Desert Storm vet and stuff like that. And I, know some of her friends and stuff. And I hear people say, oh, well, they should just get help. It's not always that easy for veterans, because I know veterans that have, I have one of my class, we grew up together, and she struggled, and she was in Iraq, and she did 2 tours. And I'm going to tell you this, she caught hell getting help. And she was really struggling with the things she saw and the things she did. And it was hard for her to get help. So I think a lot of time people want to, they want to say, oh, veterans should just get help. It's not always that easy, even if they do the right thing. And then I've taken my mother to the VA, and I've seen it. They sitting in line forever. You might be there 2-3 hours, and then you still might not get the help you need that day. Or they may say, oh, you need to fill this out. You need to do this. So I'm not gonna talk on the system, but I'll say the system needs work. And I think people, before you go condemning people saying, oh, they just need to get help or they just need to toughen up. I live on a concept, and this is just my mindset of everything, is I never know what anybody's going through. So I try to treat everybody good. And before I speak on anything negative, because I don't know what you're going through. And, I don't know what your cousin was going through. I don't know, what was happening before this situation. It seems, because I remember hearing a little bit about the story and stuff that, they weren't together currently at the time. So you don't know what happened, what transpired, and you don't know where his mindset was. You don't even know if allegedly, he did all these things. You don't know where his mind was at. You don't know what happened. You don't know what was happening 24 hours, 48 hours before this situation. And also, was he struggling when he come back? Because I have a buddy, I'm not going to say his name, but he's doing well now, and he was a sniper in a Ranger battalion, and he got after it. And he did some contracting after, and he got in an incident where he almost got blew up and stuff, IED. And I thought he was perfectly fine until we had a conversation in the past 2 years, and he was struggling, and I didn't know it. And I said, man, I wish you'd have reached out, brother. We like brothers, man. You're my dog. We grew up together, grew up around each other, we went to different high schools and, rivals in sport. So you never know what nobody's going through, especially a war veteran, because, especially if you had an MOS like infantry or so, like a combat MOS, you're built to be tough. So you could be struggling daily and nobody knows. And I think that's something that we've really got to look at and make sure, no matter what country they're in, veterans they deserve and need the help, that they need, whatever it is, and they need to, instead of people just pushing them off or trying to throw pills at them, we need to do what we can to help them. Now, here's the thing. You can't help anybody that won't help, but if somebody wants help, you need to give it to them. Because there's been not just this situation with your cousin, but there's multiple situations I know, and I'm probably a bunch in Australia, but there's multiple situations in America where veterans have, that they have been found guilty, and they did certain things, but they were struggling the whole time, and it was like some of them actually tried to get. Now some of them didn't, but I'm aware of some situations, some cases where they actually were trying to get help and they couldn't get help, and then they just snapped. And it is what it is. And some of them take their own lives, and some of them have taken other people's lives. And it's, it's something where we got to care about the human life. You got to care about the human life and understand that, for me, anybody that has made a sacrifice so I can, go to Publix and get, my kombucha and not have to worry about getting, a big shootout, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, so I can, do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Did they deserve the help they need? And I think it's a horrible situation. And, once the trials happen, I'm going to, keep in touch with it and see what's going on with the trial and stuff to see what happens. But I mean, it's horrible, man. You can't, especially when you see kids. Nobody deserves that, you know. And then the kids and stuff. It's just a horrible situation. And then two, it's like, you know, if this man was struggling, and it is found that he is guilty of the of the murder, it's like, damn, was he struggling before? Like, did anybody see it? Did he try to get help? If he tried to get help, did he get refused help? Because I've heard plenty of veterans that I personally know, like, yeah, man, I'm tried. I can't. They won't even.
Wait. Let me break it down. It is actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite, bro. The opposite. Okay.
Oh, it's the opposite. Okay.
Yes, bro. 10 years ago, he's in Daytona Beach, as I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this happened. He's 34 years old when this happened 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which will make him 36 now. He was 34 when this happened, and he owned his own landscaping business, all right? And he was also working somewhere else part-time, all right?
Okay.
So he wasn't, don't think he was like, hey, drug fueled and homeless, and it wasn't that type of situation.
It wasn't that type of situation. Okay.
No, this was, so keep that in mind. Just 2 years ago, he was, the father of several children. He had his own landscaping company, had another part-time job, and this was 2 years ago now, right? 2023. Now it's 2025. So backtrack 10 years ago, bro. 10 years ago, I was in Daytona with him, right? While he was the owner of not a landscaping company. 10 years ago, he owned a hookah lounge with a partner of his, right? So 10 years ago, bro, he was 24 years old, a decorated Afghanistan veteran, CEO of his own company. You know what I mean? Had this hookah lounge plus some other things he had going on. 10 years ago, bro, it was on. You hear what I'm saying? And I didn't even know that part of the reason he joined the Army Infantry was because, as my cousin, he saw me because I would come home after each tour, three tours in Iraq, and I would talk to them, and I would, sometimes tell them stories or show them pictures, and he was just so amazed that he couldn't believe that, like, he told me he couldn't believe that, black men were doing the kind of jobs that we were doing. Whether that's, whatever, military, law enforcement, corrections, everywhere. He was just blown away that besides a movie, that his own cousin, he couldn't believe that, guys like were doing whatever, Marine stuff, military stuff. So he went, I didn't know that motivated not only him, but his younger brother as well to join the Army. And because of me, they had to fucking be grunts too. They joined the Army. They both went to Afghanistan. They are both decorated Afghanistan war veterans, all right? And as I said, I give all of you who've been to Afghanistan the utmost respect, bro. But 10 years ago, it didn't look anything like this, bro. 10 years ago, like I just told you, he was 24 years old, the CEO of Hookah Lounge and a few other companies like landscaping and like house painting. Like, he had a few things booming. You get what I'm saying? He came out of the war, hit school, jobs, fatherhood, everything rolling. You know what I mean? I don't know, because he never came to me, and I don't know personally if I should have checked. I probably should have checked more, but also I was going through my own, sickness and heal.
Stuff.
I was going through my own times of being in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So
hindsight's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, I'm gonna shut up real quick, go over the media of it real quick, and then go ahead.
No, get the media thing, bro. But then we're gonna touch base. We're being open and raw today, so we'll go into my breakdown after this, and I want to give you some context of the 10 years.
All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with audio. Here we go.
Look at him go. Not bad for the psych ward gang.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm managing a special place in the gates of hell. That's said Charles Ivy. this case deserves for stabbing his ex-girlfriend 100 times before setting her apartment on fire with their unbelievable. This case out of Daytona Beach, Florida, and it began in November of 2023. Police Chief Jakari Young says it's the most horrific crime he's ever seen. Young stabbed Denja Moore and then set her apartment on fire. Moore and Ivy had 2 children together, ages 4 and more. Also had a 10-month-old baby boy who died in the fire. Grace of God, the 2 older children survived. Detectives confronted Ivy in the interrogation room.
So what was your thought going on in your mind?
At the time?
Mm-hmm.
Why so strong? Man.
Yeah. So what you Is that what you thought?
Man, like, why so strong? They gonna put it on me, and like, you know, everybody just pointing the tapes and guns and all that.
Well, that's kind of an odd reaction.
Detectives believe the evidence is stacked against Charles Ivy. That interrogates in 2023, but now nearly 2 years later, his case still has not gone to trial. State attorney for Volusia County is seeking the death penalty against Ivy. He faces 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, felony murder, and arson of a dwelling for allegedly starting a fire at Moore's home in Daytona Beach. Denja had custody of the 4-year-old girl and 5-year-old boy that she shared with Ivy. But Ivy is actually the father of with 2 different women. So Denja is one of the women he is supporting at the time with whom he shares children. He's also named Jasmine.
You just commit Jasmine, and you wouldn't be having any of these headaches and nightmares.
Right. I don't know.
You just can't keep it in your pants, can you?
I just choose not. Yeah, I choose not doing it.
The choices we make dictate the lives that we lead.
That's very so. Very so.
This type of dynamic is toxic, and some detectives consider pretty early on that maybe Ivy just has too many obligations, especially since Ivy admits he was sleeping with both women, Jasmine and Denja, at the same time.
You're deleting photos because you don't want to see over your shoulder, right? In your phone.
Right. Well, that's not issues, though. That's just
Maybe she's got issues with you.
Right.
Maybe issues with her.
Yeah.
Maybe she's got issues with
That's a
you.
good way. Yeah.
And to make your life a little bit easier, you try and eliminate those issues as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you just cash app her the 120 instead of having to go all the way down there?
Nikki Cash, that wasn't working.
On the night of November 2023, Ivy admits he went over to Denja's home to drop off $120, and that was the last time anyone ever saw her alive. Because just before midnight, Daytona Beach police say the fire department responded to the apartment because it was fully engulfed with flames and black smoke was coming from the home. Quickly, authorities entered the apartment, navigating the heavy smoke to recover any survivors. Firefighters rescued the 2 children and rushed them to a hospital, saving those of the 4-year-old and 5-year-old. But Denja and the baby, they were not escorted. Denja was dead, and there's no saving her baby boy, who passed away after suffering from cardiac arrest at the hospital. Since Ivy was the father, police tried to reach him to tell him about what had happened, but they couldn't find it until the next day, when Detective Cassidy decided to camp outside of Ivy's home, and she watched as Ivy and the woman he was currently living with, Jasmine, loaded suitcases and bags into their car. She also noticed that Ivy had an injury to his leg. Ivy was until police got a search warrant. According to the arrest warrant, Ivy was armed with a lethal cutting instrument when he was arrested.
Recovered some property as we fields, but I want to give you a chance to first of all, I would like to hear your story, see if you're willing to talk to us. So, my partner will end up, he's going to read you, and then if you're willing to talk, then we'll talk. Okay?
The world can be a really scary and unpredictable place, and that's where our partner
and sponsor Morgan & Morgan comes in. The first in lawyers because they win a lot in the last few months alone.
All right. Any of your thoughts, feelings, insights? Yes, this does involve the unaliving of a woman, a female, a mother, as well as a baby, a child, 10-month-old. From what you know with your experience, worse if he is convicted of this, from what you know on correction side, what's he looking like to face from inmates and the system with this type of case?
Well, I mean, if they do give him, if they
Be
put him
raw.
on death row, yeah, if they put him on death row, it's gonna be, he will go to Florida State Prison. That's gonna be totally different because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot of people that even know a lot about that prison because it's different from normal prisons.
Hey,
Because
matter of fact, actually, you know what? Let me stop you. Because this is ongoing. You think we want to maybe just drop it?
yeah, I mean,
Because it
it's
hasn't
an
been
ongoing.
adjudicated.
Yeah, he hasn't been adjudicated. So I mean, that's why I said like really you just have to wait to the actual case. But I know Tomo was gonna say something about 10 years about so I think that's kind of important too, because I just in the grand scheme of things, not him, but just anybody, that you could see them today in 10 years from now, they could have it all together and in 10 years everything could crumble. So I think that was kind of where Tomo was going to touch on. So I kind of think that's important to talk about.
Yeah, bro.
Thanks,
Look,
Larry.
Oh,
ooh,
no problem, brother.
yeah, cheers, brother. Look, this is probably. I didn't think I was going to be speaking about this shit yet, but let's get into it, man. My divorce. Um, my last set of admissions into the psych ward, my first involuntary stay in the psych wards. Plain and simple. Look, I won't go into the in depth of it because I've promised my ex-wife I'm gonna keep a lot of this shit to ourselves. Some shit I need to be able to keep to
Yeah.
myself. But 10 years, man. We were married for 12 years. So it was going on 12 years. I'd spent the year before we got divorced. Detoxing myself from a lot of the hard drugs that I'd been using for a long time as self-medication. And I watched a lot of my family and friends close to me start to go down that path as I was getting out of it. So, but the biggest thing I've got to touch on it was I was a secret drug addict. No one knew. Two or three people in my life that actually knew how bad my addictions were. And that really sort of come to the end of the year. Me and my ex-wife had decided that I'd noticed with my kids, they just weren't happy anymore. Everyone was miserable. We were all sitting in separate corners of the house, and something had to change. I couldn't keep continuing in this loop that I was stuck in of me fucking having a breakdown, going to hospital, everyone feeling fucking sad and sorry for me, giving me forgiveness, and then coming back into the loop. So we sat down Christmas Day and Christmas evening, and we decided that was it. When she got home she worked as a mental health nurse. And we decided the next day after she'd finished her slip that we were going to go our separate ways, have a trial, a proper separation. Now, I took my kids down after New Year's Day. I took my kids down to stay with my auntie and uncle and see the family and everything like that. And what was the most surprising thing was it's actually written in a police statement that I was handling the relationship breakdown too well. Anyways, shit had gone down and people were that concerned for me that my ex-wife was calling my psychiatrist, my psychologist. I had my psychiatrist and psychologist on the phone. For the first time in my life, I thought I'd figured it all out. I thought I had everything worked out. And everyone was around me was telling me I was fucking crazy. Like, you're not well, you're not well, you're not right. When I thought I was doing everything I had to do to make this as easy as possible for everyone. I didn't want to know more hurt or pain in my life. And something happened. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I had a bit of an argument with my parents. I come home. I took off, get out of the house, make sure I didn't make anything worse because I was at my auntie's place, and I was on the phone to my sister for a while, and she struggled her whole life with a heap of shit. And anyways, in my head, I started to think, fuck, you know, they're gonna take my kids away from me. That sent me, that sent me fucking ballistic. You know, I went back to the house I was met by the coppers, um, and I knew this one cop got lippy with me, and I had to transfer all my anger towards my father because I was ready to do bad shit. I thought my whole world had just completely crashed down. I took off, um, went back home. I was being told that I was going to be met with police and ambulance at the airport. I was sent home without my children. And I just think everyone wanted to lock me up. Um, I got home and did what I did best when shit went to thing is I went and, well, I'm an engineer. You think I'm fucking crazy. Now I'm going to show you what fucking crazy really is. In the space of 24 hours, I'd blown $10,000. I'd had more than enough drugs to kill most people, from acid, cocaine, MDMA, cannabis, and alcohol. I went on a drug-fueled fucking rage. I've got no memory. I deleted all the messages and shit, but to the point where I was threatening to kill my ex-wife and my parents. Like if I was ready to, if yous were taking my kids off me, I was taking yous out of the situation. How I got to that point in my head, you know, I still can't, I still don't know if I fully ever understand that, you know, first, that's not me. That's not who I am, but that's the person I became when the world got too much for me. Um, to the point where, you know, it took 8 coppers, 2 depots, 2 jabs, a handful of Valium, and uh, fucking antipsychotics to actually drop me. Mate, I was found I was found with a back to front G string, a pair of hospital slippers, and a cowboy hat on. And I put myself in the back of the van and told them to take me to the hospital where my ex-wife to prove that I was crazy. You know, I don't want to go much into more of it, right?
Yeah.
But just that, man, 12 years I kept it all together to a point where, you know, everyone thought of things. The moment I thought I'd figured it all out here, everything around me collapsed, and I turned into someone that I could never ever be. You know, to hear that I'd caused that much fear in the woman that had stuck by me for 12 years, had been through at that point 11 or 10 or 11 hospital admissions, man. You don't know. You talk about that shit that happened. I'm just so fucking grateful that no one out there that they didn't come into my world at that point, because I don't know. I still to this day don't know what would have happened. You know, so yeah, fuck.
Well,
I can't
biggest
believe I'm.
thing, man. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, but that just shows the resilience of you as a human being and just how much you've overcome into where you are now and how good of a person you are, man. But I think it also shows that we don't know. We don't know what is the catalyst to make any of us just absolutely lose it. I mean, we all sit here and say, hey, man, a lot of people say, man, I pray, that never happens, but you don't know, like anything can happen to us where it's such a traumatic thing. It's such a thing that it just breaks us to a point where we
Yep.
just decide, I don't care. I'm gonna I'm gonna show all of you. And I think that's important to talk about. And I think it's important for people to see that, but also too to see like how good of a human being you are, man. Because we've all talked, twice now, on in backstage, and I know you're a dope human being, and just to see
Cheers,
everything
brother.
you've overcome and the things that you represent, and I know being a father is very important to you, which is I think one of the greatest things as a man we could ever do is be a father. or be a father figure to someone. So I just think it's awesome, man. I'm glad you shared it. I appreciate you sharing it. I mean, you helped me grow just in this little bit of time you sharing that, because it just
It's
sets me free.
context, brother. Just
Yeah,
context. That's what this is close to my brother's family now, and like I said, I get emotional about this shit. Don't judge a book by its cover yet. You don't know what's going on.
yeah,
You know,
you don't.
we all look at me as a good human being, but I was also very, very capable of fucking almost making the same fucking mistakes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and you don't know, but also too, man. It just shows that people really have to unpack things and understand that, man. At any given moment, it could change for any of us.
Yeah.
It can change. We pray it doesn't, but we don't know. We don't know what tomorrow brings or what the hell the rest of the day brings. But we just hope for the best and do the best we can. But I just think it says volumes about you, man. Like big time. Like it really does. Like
Thanks, brother.
yeah, and I think you should be damn proud of yourself too. Yeah, I see it. Hey
Haven't had
man,
the
you should be
shakes
damn
legs,
proud of
so
yourself though. I think both of you men should be proud of yourself and just the things you've overcome. But also too, man, I'm telling you, just like me and WarDawg, we talked about this on the phone after the last podcast. I told you, man, that first one was like therapeutic. It was like a relief of so many things, like just being able to talk you know, and because I really think it's a powerful thing to be able to have a voice, but to have the voice, everybody want to have a voice, but to really have a voice and be like, hey, listen, to get some things off your chest, but able to talk to it, but all show yourself, like, man, I overcome that. Like, man, that's pretty cool. And the two thing, and the things that
I
you two
do, I
men,
do, I should really touch on that. You should really
yeah,
touch on that. But me and my ex-wife have an amazing, amazing relationship now. You know,
see, that's good.
we've it's a testament to the woman that she is, but also it's a testament to the parents that we are as together, because we put the kids first, and that's what it was all about. That was why we made the decision to end things. And yeah, man, I just want to say that thing. As crazy as that is, all the coppers and everyone to get involved, mate. We're two decent human beings that just want to make their kids to have a decent life.
But that's awesome though. And that shows volumes about y'all, because it's about the kids, and that's what y'all are focused on.
Yeah.
But that just shows
Sorry, guys,
also,
again.
man, that shows the power of the kids too, man, because it helped keep you grounded, keep you focused, and the love you have for your children, and that you both have for your children, and want the best for them. That after everything that happened, you two have a great relationship, and you overcome the things together. And even though y'all are not together, y'all have this good relationship, and you're okay, and that's what's important.
And the kids are thriving because of it, brother. I'm so fucking proud. For 10 years, I hated myself thinking I'd destroy my kids, and to be on the other side now and seeing the amazing little human beings that they're turning into, man,
Hell yeah.
is beautiful, man. They've got their parents' dark humor, but they've got that big fucking heart, man. For a 13-year-old, it's probably a little bit dark, but it's something they can relate with their mum and dad, man. And it's it took me a long time, but I'm fucking extremely proud of what we've all overcame as a unit, to be where we are now, and to have put all that shit behind us, and to looking forward to moving forward, you know. Yeah, hats off to my ex and my kids, man. They've put up
Heck
with some
yeah.
shit.
Heck yeah.
And look, for the first time ever, I can actually say that I'm fucking proud of myself. I'm proud that I'm still here, and
Hell
I'm
yeah.
proud that I still have that relationship, man. So many of my mates have been through so much fucking less shit and have popped so much more. It kills me to see what some of these dudes have to do to fight to see their children. And I consider myself very fucking blessed, and very privileged to, for to do what I did. Not many people would be seeing their children, man, and I've got 50-50 custody of mine. I kept the house. It was all for the kids, man. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
But hey, that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. And I'm just happy to hear you say you're proud of yourself, because I think sometimes too, as men, it's hard for us to say, "Hey, man," to tell ourselves, "Hey, man, I'm proud of you."
Yeah.
And I actually, I want to bring this up too because I think this is really important, and it just shows how important this podcast is, and that it's more than just a podcast. It's I think it's a help cast. Y'all helping people. But me and
Salute,
WarDawg
Love
was
that.
salute,
talking
salute,
on the phone afterwards,
salute.
and literally he told me something that I really needed to hear. He said, "Hey, man," he said, "from me to you, brother," he said, I want you to know that I want you to forgive yourself." And literally, since he said that, after the last podcast when we were on the phone, like I was like, you know what? I thought about it. I was like, man, I haven't forgiven myself from the mistakes that I've made in my life because people try to condemn you and this and
Yeah.
that. And then finally, by him saying
And
that,
you're going to make more.
and you're gonna make more. It's life. Yeah, you're not perfect. You're gonna make more mistakes. You're right, 100%. But I think I've been able to learn from my mistakes. But honestly, I've been able to learn, evolve, and grow and get better, but I never really truly forgave myself until me and him had that conversation after the last podcast. And he said, "Hey, man, from me to you,
That's
brother,"
amazing,
he said,
brother.
"You got to forgive yourself." And I was like, and literally, that was a catalyst. That was it for me. Like him saying that one thing.
Salute,
Like, and we were
salute.
on the phone for an hour, but literally that one thing he said, it just, I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's time, man. Like it's cool. They're gonna remember you from the last version of you. Who cares? That is what it is, and it's most important that you
Yeah.
forgive yourself and realize that you made the mistakes. You're gonna make more mistakes. It's just learning, growing, and evolving, and getting better every day, 1% better every day. So I think that's important, man. But the things that both of you guys touch on and your stories can help so many people. But also, too, your stories, you're able to see things in people, because I didn't really realize that until, WarDawg said it. He's like, "Hey, bro, you got to forgive yourself, man."
Yes, sir.
You got to. But he could see that because of the things he's been through. So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes, even though when we go through hell in our own personal lives, sometimes it's it's a preparation for us to be able to help somebody else in some shape, form, or fashion, through a word of
That's
encouragement, or what I'm saying, or through seeing something like,
exactly.
"I've been through that, man. Like, listen, you're okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a hard road, but you're gonna be okay." So I think
And
that's
that's it,
important.
man.
That's
Massively,
dope,
bro.
man.
Massively.
Heck yeah.
Right on. Hey, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We know you got a time hack now. How we looking, or you you want to move on to your final words,
Yeah,
your
yeah. I'll
final
move on to my
your
final words.
three?
Yeah,
All
we'll
right,
move on to final
all
words.
right.
Biggest thing, man, just once again, great talking to you guys. Being able to talk about Florida corrections and talk about the mental health side, of corrections, and talk about regular corrections, but also just three men just having conversation. We need more of this. Need
Yeah.
more of this. And also, I know we kind of touched on this before we started the show. Men, go to the doctor. Go get your blood work done. Go
Yes.
see what your testosterone levels are. Get your prostate checked. They can check it through blood work. Like,
Mm.
take care of yourself. Go do a physical. Go get blood work. I mean, because if your testosterone's low, it's going to cause all kind of problems, depression, and if it drops, I know here in America they're big. Like, they'll say, "Oh, if it's 600 and you're in your 30s, that's good." I don't really agree with that, because the testosterone is the essence of us, of who we are as men, and just like talking about, like you were talking about. I mean, it'll make you literally. It can make you be depressed. It can make you go through like male menopause,
No, of
if you
course.
want to call it. So men, go to hell. Literally go to the doctor, get blood work, and then from there, supplementation, exercise, diet, all that good stuff. And there's some companies out there. One I'll shout out that I personally use, and they're awesome, is Bioprotein. You can order it online. A lot of fighters take it. A lot of military. A lot of professionals use it. But just, hey, if you just go to the doctor first, get the blood work done, get the physical, get the heart checked, all this stuff. And then from there, you just start, because maybe you don't need, because a lot of people, they'll just take supplements and you probably don't even need
Yes.
them. Get the blood
Yep.
work done first. And then you can say, "Oh, I'm deficient
Find
in
out where you're
this."
deficient. Yes.
Yeah. And then from there, but to go to the doctor, man, we need to really be more, be more serious about that as men across the board, and checking
The
our,
body is the temple.
yeah, the body's a temple, and checking our friends. But, "Hey, man, you been to the doctor? Go to the doctor, get some blood work." Like, it's okay. Go get blood work done. Like, especially if you got insurance, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Go get the blood work done. See where your levels are at if you're deficient, and then get help. I mean, TRT. A lot of people look at it bad. I don't think it's bad. If you need it, if you don't need it, then there's no reason for you to take it. You really shouldn't take it if you don't need it. But if you need it, it can help. I know men that take it, and they have dramatically, like, they're in a better mood. I have a friend, his was at 100. Like, yeah, and what's crazy is he's built different because he's military.
Yeah.
And he was still getting after it, deadlift and squat. He said, man, he told me he was like taking 2 scoops of pre-workout to the head, and then just working out. So we just need to go to the doctor, something like that. And then also too, man, as men, hey, listen, we struggle, we go through things. It's okay. You can overcome it, and reach out. And I think we need to check on each other. We get so
100%.
busy in the hustle and bustle of life and society that we forget. Check on your people. Check on your people. Even if it's a text. Hey, you good? What's going on? You want to talk? Let's grab lunch, or hey, when can you talk? Let's have a 5-minute conversation. You'd be surprised, in 5 minutes may turn to an hour that could save somebody's life, or, it could lift somebody up. Because here's the thing, neither three of us, there's a lot of people that watch us we don't even know, and that they actually get inspiration from us, and we don't even know them. And there's same thing with us. There's people we watch and pay attention to that we get inspiration from that don't even know us and don't even know we're watching them. So we have to be conscious of that, and just remember that, hey, check on each other. And then and just, this is just in general, men. It's okay to have an ego. It's okay to have that machismo, that macho shit. But check this out, man. If you see another dude, stop looking at him crazy. Say, hey, man, what's going on? Like, God, I cannot stand that. Like, I'm just like, hey, what's up? People like, so, like, man, I don't know about y'all, but it's like, I know some tough dudes, and they're super nice. And it's like, man, come on, man. Like, we just got to start just being kind to each other. Like, man, we really got to stop the drama. Like, it's just, as men, we just need to hey, man, speak to another guy. It's not challenging.
Hey, don't bullshit them. Don't bullshit them. You around Hey, I'm around killers. Tell them he around killers every day that smile and say good morning. So goddamn, what's wrong with y'all out here in the civilian world outside of prison? Why y'all walking around like y'all got a worse attitude than the killer who got bodies on bodies, convicted on state paperwork, forensics?
But you know what I'm saying? You think about it.
Be nice, goddamn.
You got people that are locked up that are smiling. If you're free, why are you not smiling? I mean, and I get it. Everybody's going. And here's the thing. I think we got to remember this. And then I'll cut off with this: is we're all going through stuff.
Yep.
In some shape, form, or fashion, we're all fighting. We're fighting battles of some sort. We're all fighting battles. I think it's just finding the positive in all of it, which is not easy. And I'm not gonna say it's easy, but finding it and being grateful for the things that we do have. Especially our health, family, friends, real. Let me
health is
wealth,
change that. Brother.
Huh? Yeah, but let me change that.
Health
real
is
friends.
wealth.
Health is wealth, but real friends. There's a difference. Not friends, but real friends.
Real friends.
Real friends. That's hard to find. If you have real friends, if you got one real friend, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Fucking nice.
Heck yeah, but that's it, man. And as always, man, it's always cool to hang out with the Sight Gang. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome.
No, we love it, bro. I just want to add one little bit to the end of everything you were just saying there, mate. Educate yourself. We're in a world now where you've got all the information you need at your fucking fingertips, man.
Yeah.
Educate yourself. That's probably the biggest thing I could touch on there. You also touched on the overland supplementation, mate. I've just got a mate. He's one of my infantry guys overseas, infantry section commanders from my tour. That's his motto now. That's everything he's gone into. Hopefully going to have him on the show shortly. He's just introduced his line of supplements into Walmart over in the States. So hopefully get him on so he can explain a lot more about it. But mate, educate yourself. We've got the resources there now. It's not like having to go through a fucking library and flick through the encyclopedia, for those that still remember that shit.
Or a phone book. A lot of people don't know about a phone book.
Hey, Tomo,
we've got that Yo.
I'm sorry. No, you go ahead. I shouldn't have did that. Let me shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no. Just educate yourself, man. All the information's there. All the information's there.
Heck yeah.
Everything Larry said was fucking bang on there. Just the only little bit I wanted to add there is just educate yourself.
No, I appreciate that. And you're right. We
Get
do.
to get to know this thing. Get to know this
Yes,
thing, because I love that saying now. Health is wealth,
it
especially
is.
this day and age.
Yes.
Hey,
You
damn
got
right.
some
I'm
word
sorry.
out?
I didn't mean to cut you off at all. I'm sorry about
You're
that,
right, brother.
Tomo.
You good?
Hey,
You're right, brother.
I got the idea though. Hey, we fuck with Larry so hard, bro. I would like to check in with him every 1 to 2 weeks. Every 1 to 2 weeks, dog. He
Oh,
needs
we
to
can
be a
just check in
regular.
and talk, man.
All right,
We
he
can
needs
just
to
talk.
be a regular. You get what I'm saying?
Just
You see
me
how
talk.
this
Fucking
is
oath.
2 hours, bro. We're 2 hours in on this, and we this is just supposed to be prison talk. You get what I'm saying? You see how far else? You get
They
what I'm
turn to
saying?
life
This
talk.
yeah. So Larry, hey, we really appreciate you, bro. Sorry that everyone knows this. All shows should be about 1 hour or less. When you got
Yeah.
somebody dope though, and we
Yeah.
we evolve in conversations. You get them this long, this good, this dope. Hey, so Larry,
Nah,
thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you both. I'm grateful and very thankful for this opportunity again. And anytime I can be on the show, anytime I can help in any shape, form, or fashion, especially since you guys are going to SHOT Show, we got to talk because I've been wanting to
Yeah.
go forever.
Oh, you want to
We need a
go?
cameraman.
Yeah, listen, remember we talked about that off scene,
Hey,
but
I can get you a free ticket. Hey, I mean, shit,
listen,
we on the
I'm
radio, but
waiting
hey,
on.
let's talk. I mean, we're
Yeah, we're
not
gonna
radio.
talk
Hey,
offline. We're gonna
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Hey, it's on. It's on. Hey, tune in. Sergeant WarDawg TV might include Larry Long the second at in Vegas SHOT Show 2026 with all the latest guns, equipment, military, law enforcement, security, executive protection. Hey, all right, this has been episode 144 with the one, the only Larry L. Long the second.
Appreciate you
All right.
guys.
Now he
Yeah.
has law enforcement experience, and not only is he just law enforcement, all right, Pete Game, he is the guy on that level that teaches law enforcement
Yep.
officers. You get what I'm saying? He's the one that they come to for classes to learn something. You understand something? That's why I brought him on. I only fuck with the best. We only fuck with the best. That's why we had to bring him. All right. In addition to being an instructor for law enforcement, he is also, as you just heard, has corrections experience, and even more than that, he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. Tell them where they can find you online, especially Instagram, boss.
Okay, so Instagram, you can find me at Lavelle_Larry, and then also at Westside Tallahassee Jiu-Jitsu Club. Check us out. We're, like I said, man, we're the home for everybody. No matter what your flag is, no matter, and if you just need a place to hang out, if you're just struggling and need people to talk to, come, man. We'd love to meet you. Any way we can help. That's what we're about.
Love it.
All right. So have a good one now. We really appreciate
Yes, sir.
you coming on the show. Hey, everyone, stay tuned. We're gonna have a checking in with Larry every 1 to 2, 3 weeks. Salute. Larry. All right, everyone. From Tomo and myself here in Florida, Tomo, Australia. Tomo, you got any last words?
Brother, what an amazing chat again today. I hope our viewers and followers got a little bit out of it, and continue to watch this space. But more importantly, check out what we're doing at Camp Doghouse, guys. Any assistance to help us build this this dream of ours is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, salute. Remember, you can check us out at campdoghouse.org. All right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 144 of the WarDawg Trail podcast with your hosts, Sergeant WarDawg and Tomo. Salute.
Salute.